Hello, I'm Harry Harding, and welcome to my new online series. These are troubling and uncertain times for actors, and indeed for the theatre industry. So I thought, whilst we're all locked down, I would keep in touch with my fellow creatives by talking about our favourite subject: ourselves. In this series, I'll be interviewing fellow actors and creatives on everything from their favourite roles to dream castings to funny backstage mishaps and more. But before we proceed, please don't swear and please don't say Macbeth. Oh, hang on a minute. I just... Cue the titles. My guest this episode is actor, writer, model Francesca Wilkinson. Francesca's passion for acting began at a very early age. She achieved A stars in GCSE and A-level drama, and it was in her second year of her A-levels that she fell in love with devising and writing plays. This led her to study English at Warwick University, where she wrote and performed a wide variety of original work, including an original Shakespearean monologue, a dramatic play about domestic abuse, and a murder mystery. During her education, she trained at the Belgrade Youth Theatre, specialising in period drama and film. She has worked as a performance artist for several theatrical attractions, such as the London Dungeon, the Warwick Dungeon, and Thorpe Park Fright Night. Her professional credits include 2 feature films, as well as What Are They Like at the Lyric Theatre Hammersmith in 2016. In 2019, she played the lead role of Viola in the outstandingly directed Twelfth Night. And most recently, the vampire bride Clarice in Immersive Dracula. Francesca, welcome to the show. Please don't swear and please don't say Macbeth. Okay, so first of all, before we begin, how are you doing? How are you coping in lockdown?
I've been working on my fitness quite a lot. That's the main thing I've been doing every day.
Yeah.
And some days I'll have like virtual modeling shoots. And then just like a few little interviews here and there.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
But I'm looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah, aren't we all? But you're well. You're well and safe.
Yeah, just
Good.
about.
Good. That's the important thing. Okay, so your passion for acting began when you were just 5 years old. So, I mean, was that when you knew that you wanted to be an actor? And what was it about that particular production, that first show you did, that sort of inspired you? Or was it that inspired you?
So it's the first production, it's the first bit of acting that I ever did. My mum used to act when she was younger, but she never pursued it. So she made me go to this amateur drama club, and I went, and they were doing the auditions for this production, and I auditioned and just got the main part straight away. Since as when I was doing the production and going to rehearsals every week, that's when I knew that that's what I wanted to be doing. And then everything since then has been focused on acting, and it's never changed since that age. I knew I wanted to be an actor.
out of all the characters that you have played, who would you say was your favourite and why?
That's so difficult. The okay, yeah. So in A level, I played a character called Jones in Semblance of Madness, and she had split personality disorder. And I think that was my favorite character because her main personality, like her main one, was very loud, very. She was like a psychopath, and she had murdered people. And I think that was my favorite character. I think that was my favorite character because it was the most challenging.
Yeah.
And it was the most interesting as well, and it required me to do the most research. I spent hours studying like split personality because I wanted to, represent it in the right way. So I'd say that was probably the best character that I've ever played.
Well, that very nicely moves us on to my next question, which was going to be about Semblance of Madness and that role. I mean, what was it about it that was so challenging? Was it sort of getting in the psyche of the character, or having to play two different personalities?
I think it was firstly making it not look too obvious or too staged. I wanted to make it the most natural portrayal as possible because I'm really interested in split personality disorder, and I know there's a lot of stuff in the media today that represents it in a really negative light.
Sure.
And I wanted to sort of stay away from that, so that's why I tried to make it as natural as possible. And like between the switches of characters, so you go from Jones to Sadie, like that was one of her other personalities, and I didn't want her to do it just like she did a weird neck click and then was like a different character. Like I wanted to make it really, really subtle, and then make it disturbing in the sense that it's so subtle, and then all of a sudden the audience just sort of realised that I'd changed.
The subtle action that you did to change personality?
They were different for each sort of personality that she went into because I didn't want it to be, obvious. So one of them, I remember switching personalities when I was up against the wall and I slid down and I had my hands like against my head as if I was angry in the character of Jones, and then I shifted the meaning of having my hands on my head to mean something else, like a weakness, whereas for Jones it was like a strength, and then I sort of used that to swap the personalities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. That's very clever. I'm going to write that down. You don't mind if I steal that, do you? Okay, so as well as acting and modelling, you're also a writer. You've written an original Shakespearean-style monologue, which is no easy feat. Impressively still, you've written a murder mystery, which you performed at, let's say, an unusual venue. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
So it was one of my modules at university. It was called Theatre in the Community, and it was focused on helping people through therapy. So theatre therapy for people who are like less fortunate than us, or just because theatre is quite good therapy anyway. It allows you to get your emotions and everything out. So this one module, we knew that we were going to be putting a performance on in a high security male prison. So that was the goal. I thought it'd be a good idea to do a murder mystery. And the first time we pitched the idea to our lecturer, he was a bit like, there will be murderers in the room. Are you sure that's what you want to do? And I explained to him the idea, and the idea is that we'd show them a piece of performance and then we'd workshop it afterwards and explore the themes that we've explored in the play. And it wasn't just a murder mystery, it was a murder mystery about identity and crime, and how you're not defined by your crime. So it's more helping them not be defined by their crime and to be defined by something else. So we made the murder very small and like not physical, so it would be like a trigger for them. So it was like just a little poisoning, nothing too stabby. And we went into the prison. They loved it. They really loved it because we made it really immersive, and I sort of came up with the idea that because it's all about identity, and you put identities on someone, you put assumptions on someone. It was my idea to not cast us all and have 5 characters that we knew the lines to every character, and then we let the inmates decide who would play who. And then on each table, there were 5 tables, each table had costume on. And then once the inmates had decided who was who based on our appearance, we'd put the costumes on and then we'd start the show. So I think, and there was a lot of interaction with them, like we'd sit, we'd talk to them. And I think it was well received because of how much they were involved with it. Instead of just being, here's a show, enjoy it. They were involved throughout the whole thing, and I think they really enjoyed that. And they were probably getting into it. Like someone was like, I think it's you, and like shouting at her, and we're like, so they were probably getting involved, which was nice. At the end, I was kind of like shocked by how normal they were. So we were sort of scared for no reason. They were so normal. They were so polite. They were so nice. They offered us biscuits. And they were probably, the way they acted was probably nicer than, you know, some other audiences that I've gone through. But I think that's because they're obviously on strict behaviour, and if
they get a baton to the face.
Yeah.
But still, though, I mean, you know, complimentary prison biscuits, that's a win.
Yes, they had a wide variety of biscuits.
Wow. And you've also written, it's fair to say, a much more serious play about domestic abuse. Tell us a bit about that. How did that come about?
It was another identity module. Theatre is full of identity modules. And I wanted to sort of, for this piece, explore how someone's identity changes in an abusive relationship, and to show the gradual breakdown, you know, from, and I called it 6 months because it was a six stage period. And I didn't want to just make it about physical abuse, because that's the most well known. It's what people know about. When you think of domestic abuse, people think violence. But I wanted to push that and discuss financial abuse, coercive control, and try and tick all the boxes in a natural and subtle way. So it was a one-woman show, and it was presented in monologue format, but it was like I was having a conversation with myself. So I sort of had the chair and I put it directly in front of someone, like as if I was in front of you, and I'd speak to them, and the audience would be able to understand what the other character was saying, because it was like a conversation. And I originally wrote it with 2 parts and then just deleted the other half. I am hoping to, because I only performed a small section at university, and I only had to write a small section, but it sort of encouraged me to write the whole play, and I'm hoping to put that on in the, maybe not the near future, but at some point I'd like to put it on somewhere.
Yes, well, we certainly hope you do. So now this is a question I ask all the guests. So what is your dream role? If you could play any character, who would it be and why?
It's probably going to sound a bit cliche, but it's Rosalind in As You Like It.
That's not cliche at all. Excellent choice. Why?
Well, I played Viola before, and I loved Viola, but when I read As You Like It, I knew that was my favourite Shakespeare play ever. And I know Viola and Rosalind are quite similar characters because they both cross-dress. But it was when I went to see As You Like It, there was the woman playing Rosalind was also ginger, and not that has anything to do with anything. I sort of looked at her and thought, I could do that. I could play that part. And then when I studied at university, I always, you know, you get to pick which Shakespeare plays you study. I wouldn't touch the history plays. No way. As You Like It was always my favourite. And I think I'd do a good job with that role, and I'd like to be able to do it.
I think that's a great choice. I also think that you would make an excellent Rosalind. Having directed you in a Shakespeare, I would know. Excellent. Well, yeah, all the world's a stage. Thought I'd throw that in there. Okay, so finally, do you have any exciting projects coming up that you'd like to plug, or maybe just hope that you do in the future?
I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say about this one.
Oh, exciting! We've got an exclusive.
But during quarantine, I found out that I've been cast in a feature film as a leading lady, and it's a murder mystery.
Favourite.
It's just so typical that the first feature film that I get cast as a lead in is a murder mystery, because that's just so me, and period as well, which is also massively me. I'm playing a young journalist. We're filming, so I'll be moving to Oxford. We'll be filming in Oxford. I think over the last couple of years since I've graduated, I've sort of realised what my strengths are with acting, and it's period. So I've kind of been rebranding myself, and when this finishes, I want to get a period showreel done, and I've got the period film, and I've sort of realised that that's what I want to be doing. So whether it's a period film, period TV series, or theatre, that's what I want to be doing. I don't really like modern.
That sounds great. I hope that we see you as the lead in a new, BBC adaptation of Sense and Sensibility.
That's what I want to do. You just named it.
You heard it right here, exclusively. Is it Sense and Sensibility?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is a Don't Say Macbeth exclusive for you, and we're only 2 episodes in. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Francesca, for your time. You've been a fantastic guest, and I wish you all the best. Stay well and stay safe.
Thank you.
If you would like to be a guest on my show, then private message me your interest on Facebook or Instagram. Or if you're lucky enough to have my telephone number, you can send me a WhatsApp message.